Hey now and hello. It's Jason from Fielder Cards. I wanted to do a brief video talking about my experience at the Strongsville mostly vintage sports card show that I went to. It went this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I only went on Friday, the opening day. It's in Strongsville, Ohio, which is a suburb of Cleveland. It is southwest of Cleveland, about a 3 hour and 45-minute drive for me from Michigan. It is known as the oldest vintage sports card show in the U.S., and it's been canceled the last 2 years because of COVID. So first time in 3 years, really, that they had it. It was amazing. I had heard great things about it over the last few years. I've been wanting to go, but with it being canceled, I wasn't able to go. It was awesome. It was like a mini national in terms of vintage cards. I highly recommend, if you're into vintage and can swing going next year, it is totally worth it. I can't remember how many tables there are. I believe there's at least 200 tables. Just like most shows, most of the dealers were overpriced, but you can find some that have great deals. You can also find some who are reasonably priced. So, and that's who I purchased from. I only made 3 purchases. I only brought about $1,000. And so I probably should have brought more money, especially when you consider what I'm into and what vintage cards go for. But I got some great deals, and I want to show them off, especially because I've already sold one, and that's this one. I bought this 1963 Fleer Sandy Koufax that is just immaculately centered in a PSA 6. It's an old slab. Got this from a guy who was mostly selling hockey cards, and his hockey prices were, I thought, overpriced. But he had some baseball, and this card was well under comps. And then I gave him an offer too, and we negotiated, so I got a little bit even more off of his sticker price. And I sold it already because I almost doubled my money. I love the card. It's just the fact that I have a bigger PC vintage card coming in the mail, and I wanted to kind of recoup some of my money back from making that purchase. So decided to move this one, even though I love this card. I love Koufax and Mays. I think, the 2 oldest living Hall of Famers, if I believe to be right now. So I love both of them. But, posted on eBay. Got a very, very fair offer just below my asking price, so I moved it. And then the only other purchase I made was from the same dealer who was from Des Moines, Iowa. Can't remember his name. He was there with his wife. He had awesome cards, and even some modern. There's a little bit of modern scattered throughout this show. And of course, I made a modern purchase, but it's a rare card and great value. And the fact that I bundled with this guy who was, again, just the best prices I thought of any dealer that I had seen. And I make a round. I usually walk around the whole floor at least once before unless there's like an insane deal to be made, which actually was the Koufax that I bought. I usually try and make at least one round before I start figuring out what I want to kind of go after. But I bought this modern. It's a Verlander Topps Chrome rookie on-card autograph in a CSG 8.5. This thing was priced below what raw cards go for. And, CSG, this is my first CSG slab. If you follow me on Twitter at Fielder Cards, I'm very critical of CSG. And then, of course, I buy this card, and then hours later, they come out with the decree that they are changing their labels and changing how they grade. So I don't know what that means for this card moving forward. Maybe I'll have the owner of my LCS crack this out and send it to PSA. But to get this slabbed for less than a raw at a great price, and the fact that I bundled it with another card so I got an even better deal, it was a no-brainer. I just think highly of Verlander. I think his stuff is a little bit depressed because he's coming off the Tommy John surgery, but he is probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the top pitchers in the modern era. I'm a Tigers fan, so he was incredible for us. So yeah, just loved. This was the only one of these I saw at the show, and I've been having this on my radar for a while, and to be able to finally get one is just awesome. And I bundled it with this, a 1952 Bowman Stan Musial in a PSA 6. I don't PC Stan the Man. I don't even know if right now I have another Musial card. I've always liked this card, just the colors. He doesn't have many cards, period, because of, he had contract issues with the companies. But this thing is so awesomely centered. The price was like right in line with comps. And then, of course, to be able to bundle these two, I got an even better discount. So to me, it was a no-brainer to add this card, just because, again, to see it in that condition, it looks better than a 6. It really does. It's in an old slab. Maybe that's part of the reason. But just an awesome, awesome vintage card. So, yep, that's it from the Strongsville show for me. I wish I would have brought more money. I almost made a deal for a 34 Gaudy Hank Greenberg, which has been on my radar for a while. I just couldn't get over the fact that the left side of it was stained. So it was a great price. It really was a great price for the grade. And it was centered, but there was from into my thumb up, there was staining. If it would have been on the back, I would have been fine with it. But on the front, it just detracted from the card. So I passed on it. There was a couple other cards. What else? I'd have to look through my phone to see a couple other cards that I had on my radar. There was a Cons Wieners. I think it was a 1960 or 61 Jim Brown. You rarely see those, but you're kind of in Cleveland country, so you're going to pay a premium. And it moved. I saw somebody on Facebook who purchased that. He got a good deal, good price. Oh, there was a 35 Diamond Kings Hank Greenberg. A guy that I actually bought, a dealer that I bought Bart Starr card from at the National. His stuff's a little overpriced, but he just got this Diamond Kings Greenberg back from SGC. It was an SGC 4. It looked better. It was perfectly centered. Colors were amazing. He was asking way above. Not that there are tons of recent comps. There's definitely not one in a 4. But he was way above recent, where it should have been at. And he even said it. Yeah, man, I got it at this. I have no problem holding it. It looks better. It's rare. And I don't blame him. So I just said, yeah, no problem. He also had, he had one other card too he had a 49 Bowman Satchel Paige in a, I think it was also an SGC. I think it was an SGC 3, and it looked incredible. That card's pretty pricey, and he was above on that too because it looked better than the grade, and it's rare. I don't blame him. There's probably going to come a time where he needs to move it, and he'll come down a little, but he wasn't in the mood on Friday, first day of the show. Maybe by Sunday he did. I don't know, but he's a nice guy. He and his wife both are nice people. I remember dealing with him at the National. So didn't pull the trigger on those. There was just tons of other awesome vintage cards there. I took some of the auction houses were there, so they brought their high-end vintage stuff that they'll have available for auction. I took some pictures, posted it on my Twitter at Fielder Cards. There was a Honus Wagner, the famous card, is in a PSA 1. There were some really rare Joe Jacksons. There were some rare high-end Lou Gehrig's, Babe Ruth. Just amazing stuff. Awesome show. Easy to get to. I wish the floor was a little bit spread out more. That's the great thing about the National, is how spread out it is. You're not as crammed, but this show you were kind of crammed once it got busy on Friday. But just still worth it. And, if you ever get a chance, it's definitely worth going. I just saw tons of deals getting made. Tons of stuff. High rollers. But it was way more laid back than when you go to a show with tons of modern, where there's just young kids some of them are just obnoxious, making moves and thinking they're just like important. Whereas this vintage show, way more low key, just way more just laid back. But the audience, for the most part, consists of people age 40 to 60. So yeah, it's at the 10-minute mark. So I'll sign off. Hopefully, pretty soon I will upload a video. Well, I got a couple nice things coming. Once those show up later this week, hopefully by Friday, I'll have a new video showing what I purchased in March. Because if you saw my previous videos, I am selling a lot of my ultra modern, and then like the wax that I pick up from Target.com when they drop stuff, I hold it and then I flip it, and I use the profits and put it toward vintage stuff. So that's what I've been doing. I've made a couple of big purchases this month. Big for me is $750, $800. So I made a couple of those purchases. Another nice one on the way. I'll detail that in a later video. But for now, I will say bye for now. Thanks for watching. And if you want to reach out to me, I'm very active on Twitter @FielderCards.